I have every fear that India will once again resort to false flag operations and the use of the bogey of terrorism as a red herring to divert international opinion, even attack Pakistan. Another Indian ploy to deflect attention is its increasing violations of the 2003 ceasefire understanding on the line of control and regular and persistent targeting of civilians in Azad, Jammu and Kashmir. India has used cluster munitions and heavy artillery in flagrant disregard of fundamental norms of international humanitarian law. This must end immediately. Mr. President, I have regularly sensitized the UN Security Council about the grave dangers to peace and security in nuclearized South Asia and beyond, as a result of India's reckless posture and draconian measures. We have welcomed consultations by Security Council members on the unfolding developments. While the Security Council is seized of peace and security dimensions of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute, the Human Rights Council must pay far greater and immediate attention to the human rights of the people of the Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In doing so, the Human Rights Council has, for its consideration, the two Kashmir reports issued by the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights in June 2018 and July 2019. Both reports make a clear recommendation to this Council to constitute an independent commission of inquiry to investigate and report human rights violations in Jammu and Kashmir. I reiterate from this platform Pakistan's endorsement of the recommendations of these reports. We urge focused discussions on the two reports in the Human Rights Council and a unanimous decision by this House to implement their recommendations made to India, Pakistan, and foremost to the Human Rights Council. If India has nothing to hide, it should allow unhindered access to the Commission of Inquiry as recommended by the UN High Commissioner. Pakistan stands ready to allow access to the proposed Commission of Inquiry or other mechanisms on our side of the line of control, together with similar access to Indian occupied and Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. President, the Human Rights Council must pay heed to the plight of the Kashmiri people and address the warning signs of a looming catastrophe. For this, the Council should immediately take the following steps. 1. Urge India to immediately stop the use of pellet guns, end the bloodshed, lift the curfew, reverse the clampdown and communications blackout, restore fundamental freedoms and liberties, release political prisoners, stop targeting human rights defenders, and fulfill obligations under the United Nations Security Council resolutions and various human rights instruments as required by international law. India's draconian emergency laws in occupied Jammu and Kashmir cannot be allowed to stand. 2. Take these steps to bring justice to the perpetrators of human rights violations of the innocent Kashmiri people, and in this context, constitute a commission of inquiry as recommended by the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. 3. Authorize the Office of the High Commissioner and the Human Rights Council special procedures mandate holders to monitor and report on India's human rights violations in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir and regularly update this council. And fourthly, call upon India to allow unhindered access to human rights organizations and international media to the Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Excellencies, today I have knocked on the doors of the Human Rights Council, the repository of the world's conscience on human rights, to seek justice and respect for the people of the Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. At stake is our collective humanity, the principles that we all subscribe to, and what makes us human. We must not let political, commercial, and parochial consideration cloud and impair our thoughts and actions. We must not allow this august body to be embarrassed on the world stage. As a founding member of this council, Pakistan feels morally and ethically bound to prevent this from occurring. But to do so, we must not remain indifferent to the tragedy that is unfolding before our eyes. We must act decisively and with conviction. Distinguished delegates, let us not forget that history is replete with failed, barbaric campaigns to wage demographic wars to change facts on the ground. India's attempt must fail, but this inevitability must occur without allowing the illegal Indian occupation forces to spill any more innocent blood. For 7 decades, the people of Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir have awaited implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions prescribing a plebiscite to honor their right to self-determination. History would be a most unforgiving judge if we fail yet again the people of this illegally occupied territory in their moment of greatest peril. Mr. President, let the world not forget the disastrous legacy of appeasement and the great cost of it to Europe. I invite everyone here to join us as we rise for justice. I thank you, Mr. President.
Je remercie